going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to be going over the top stocks for big momentum this week. So we're talking Bbig, SPRT, and a few more. So keep in mind, these are not long-term holds for me. These are momentum trades to capitalize on crazy moves. These are highly risky and volatile, and you can lose money if you don't play them correctly. So keep that in mind and only put in what you can afford to lose. Don't bet the house on these types of plays because they are very risky. So before we get into it, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. I really appreciate it. And also check out the Patreon for more insight on plays, options, and alerts. Now let's get into it. All right, so first up, we're talking SPRT. We saw this one go up over 100% on Friday and then sell off to only about 30% up, which is still amazing, but they definitely wanted this to close below 30. So we could actually see this come down a bit more. I saw the call flow definitely drop heavy. It's only at 53% now, where before it was, I believe, 76%. So looking at the chart, we could come down and fill this gap. These are a couple different scenarios that I am seeing. We could come down to 20 and bounce from there, or we can come all the way down and touch, around 20. And if that breaks, then we could see something like 16 or 1650 and then bounce from there. So I'm watching this one. That's where I would consider re-entering because I don't think this is done. They still have that vote coming up, and I do expect a run up to that vote. Not sure what happens after that, but SPRT is still a decent play. I think there's a lot of momentum behind this one, so I'm definitely watching it. I hope it actually comes down a little bit, consolidates, and then we get that bigger move up, so I get a better chance for a better re-entry. But I did want to go over this guy's due diligence on this on Reddit. It's very interesting, so let's get into that. All right, so this was posted a day ago on r/short squeeze on Reddit by caddude42069, and I will link this below because I'm just going to skim through it. You guys can read through it as well. But basically, he's been right on his SPRT predictions, and he's heavy in the meme stocks. He plays GameStop, AMC, all those good ones. And he basically talks about how the charts for SPRT and GME are similar. He knows that it'll never be comparable because GME is just, a beast in its own, and nothing will ever go like that again. But he did compare the charts, and they do look very similar. So when GME had its first substantial 100% day, they ended up breaking it down to only be up 20% at the end of the day. So a lot of profit taking happened. And we saw the same thing happen with SPRT, up over 100%, and at the end of the day, they got it to close below 30 and only be up around 34% at the end of the day. Now, that's still a great day for any stock, but in this sense, being up 100% and dropping to 34 is a huge difference. So now he says, let's look at the GME chart the day after the 100% run. And basically, he says to the moon. So obviously we have some similarities here between the two stocks. High short interest, dumb hedgies, strong retail sentiment. And then another comparable chart here side by side. Both daily candles on the first substantial 100% days are red, but the stock finished green. To me, this is an indicator that there may still be room to run only if retail and other hedges continue to play the stock. So obviously, there's a ton of tickers with high short interest. If people spread their money around or, SPRT loses the hype, then this will all pretty much crumble. So it really depends if people stay focused on SPRT. So after GameStop's 100% day, everyone was bearish and told you to sell. The same thing's happening with SPRT. So there's a chance that SPRT squeezes further, maybe, maybe not. Shorts have barely covered and retail sentiment is still strong. And like I mentioned, they still have that event coming up. Then he goes on to talk about the tactics that hedge funds use to push stocks down and manipulate the stock and the price. Basically switching sentiment, getting people to sell and be bearish on the stock and kind of forget about it and move on, which could very well happen. The dark pool data often shows, if they're buying or selling, and they can manipulate it, but we can't see that when it's happening. It only comes out, after hours or a day or two after. So basically, he says that hedgies do this, and they get as greedy as possible. They rinse and repeat. However, as the price gets higher and higher, it's harder to do this, especially if they open the position and double down on it at much lower levels. You get a massive short position that you have trouble covering without shooting up the stock higher and higher, and it could turn into something like GameStop. He also says he doesn't believe a move like GameStop will happen, but he does think that SPRT could go to triple digits by the end of the week, without seeing another 100% gain unless there's also some crazy things going on with the stock. I'm not sure about triple digits. My price targets are usually very conservative. I could see this going back to 40 to 50 maybe, but also you have to remember there's a lot of people bag holding now, and they could easily take their profits and get the heck out as soon as it goes up again. So those are some things we're going to have to keep an eye on. There's a lot of barriers we got to break. All right, next up is BBIG. This one has been getting talked about a lot, and I do believe this will be the move for this week that a lot of people focus on. So this one's up, clearly up over 100%. It was just around $3 last Friday, and now it's $7.70. So we saw this one go crazy after hours. I wanted to show you guys this chart. So the weekly broke out of this falling wedge, huge candle up. So we will likely see this head near 950, and I would really like to see this break 950. What I do think will happen is we'll come touch it, probably see a lot of resistance around this level, but once we break that, this thing could easily fly. I'm seeing a lot of price targets such as, $10, $15, and even $20. So there's some money to be made here. I do believe call options are still relatively inexpensive. We'll see how they open tomorrow. Could see some profit taking and manipulation at open, so definitely keep that on watch. But right now, the September contracts are, still relatively cheap. They haven't spiked too much, but I mean, obviously they spiked a lot compared to what they were, and the implied volatility is crazy, but they're still, under $100. With these types of stocks, playing shares is typically safer because you can sell pre and post market, so keep that in mind, and there's no volatility with the shares as far as theta and implied volatility, stuff like that. Here's a bit more on BBIG from @Ultra Gains. All credit to him. So he's talking about on January 21st, BBIG filed the 8K regarding the reverse triangle merger with Zash and formation of ZVV, a joint venture between BBIG and Zash. Also, they officially PR'd it. Big names are involved here. So understanding the connection here, first, Vinco and Zash form a joint venture, ZVV. Second, Zash acquires Lomo. Third, ZVV merges with Zash, and Zash will absorb the ZVV completely and will now become a subsidiary of BBIG. So here is basically, he goes on to explain how it's going to work and how huge this is. So there could be more value here in the long term, but for me, this is likely just a trade, get in, get out, get the profits, and move on. But if you guys want to check this out, go to his Twitter, and it'll be linked below as well. Another one I'm going to keep watch on is Root. This is the #1 stock mentioned on the Wall Street Bets ticker sentiment, along with, BABA, GME, and you can see all of them right here. And I know SPRT wasn't even on this list, and neither is BBIG at the moment, but Root is being heavily talked about, and the chart actually looks decent. So you have the MACD trying to cross up. It is still oversold on the weekly, finally broke out of this downtrend, and there's a wick to around $15 if you can get there. So I'll be watching this one, and right now the call flow is only 40%, but the short interest is 28%. We'll see if retail sentiment can push this one higher, and yeah, just on watch at the moment, no position though. All right, and last up is AMC. This one definitely looks ready to go. The memes are back. AMC and GME kind of spiked last week, but then corrected. However, AMC refused to close below that $40 mark, which is awesome, even with all the selling pressure. So to me, that is signaling another leg up coming soon. The chart looks great, call flow is great, and the short interest is still there. Dark pools were bearish on this last week, but I'm excited to see, if they're going to start scaling in soon here. But I do expect AMC to make that leg up this week. So I'm going to keep this one on close watch. Resistance levels for AMC right now, 46.50, 49, and then once we get into the 50s, we're going to have to break 54, 57, and then hopefully head to all-time highs. Support for AMC is around 39 and 37, and if we break those, likely going down to 30. So keep these on watch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and have a good one.